With time, a seed becomes a tree, sheltering us. With time, a skill becomes a talent, empowering us. With time, a technology becomes a tool, enhancing us. By nature, time gives value to almost everything, yet the very thing our society gives value to, our money, loses value over time. This paradox warps our reality by defying the laws of nature, and it stems from the belief that $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow. Meaning money must always lose value. We built our reality off of this model. Time value of money, we call it, but in reality, this is just dogma. Since we can keep making more of it, we end up destroying our own purchasing power. So we put it in stocks, put it in bonds, put it in land, put it in funds, put it in crypto, put it in gold. But we are not oracles, so what do we know? We know that it's hard to get by. We know some people may never retire. Is time value of money a license that discounts the monetary value of our time? If time is money, how are they moving in different directions? We're working longer for less, we end up just giving away our freedom. Give up liberty for policies, give up our agency to the authorities. Because when our foundation is built on complexity, we simplify humans by giving up our humanity. Reality check, we've strayed too far from the truth. The world economy's a wreck when 1 + 1 no longer equals to 2. And if life's created from the truth, along the way something got screwed. And we let our own dogma subjectify value. And we divorce action from consequence. We defy the law of physics when we make scarcity infinite. We disregard the language of mathematics. So our systems are built in a fallacy. Our society's based in a fantasy. In the absence of truth, we're living in the shadows of our own reality. And that's the root problem. Man-made rules can be broken. As our trust crumbles, so does the progress of our civilization. But one thing remains constant: no one can cheat nature. So why not use it to architect a stronger base layer? The most beautiful buildings engineered based on these consequences. Natural law drives rigor needed to build something enduring, uncompromising on principles that accounts for the flaws. Because when our lives are at stake, the gravity of truth cannot be ignored. So if our monetary systems were designed like structures, it would embody energy and matter, so the money itself matters. An unbreakable limit enforced by costliness of creation ensures the structure holds value for many generations. A rule-based system, governed by maths, builds a transparent ecosystem that can self-error correct. With no one in charge, no words are taken as fact. Only work from computation can actualize truth of timestamps, and like water flowing off a cliff down the path of gravity, computational energy makes time flow one way only. It is this irreversibility which gives value to our money by upholding consensus and scarcity to create one shared reality. Now the map is the territory. Now we're working with high fidelity. Now money is truthfully time and energy bound by finality. Now we have the ability to manifest each of our dreams and build a world that is much more reflective of all of our needs. And that's the purpose of money, merely a tool to shape our reality, merely a function to harness and express individuality, but just a way to live freely, just a means for possibility. Because when we build on integrity, we enhance the beauty of humanity. The most beautiful societies are built from diversity of our thoughts that come to life when we're empowered individually. Because when our money tomorrow is worth more than today, we shift from predicting to creating the future ourselves. And when our money grows in value, we grow thoughtful in how we use it. Natural law drives rigor needed to fund something enduring, something truly worth it, something that pushes the sky's limit, something only possible when our real value and consequence exist in boundless virtual dimensions. Imagine potential creations, fueled by monetary life force, lasting for many generations. We will venture into new territories and unleash these possibilities once we learn to embrace the truth of our reality.
What do you do with the Bitcoin besides it just gather value?
Real estate developers in New York City, they're not buying the real estate because they want to live in it.
But like, most of the people who are buying assets at some point want to sell the assets at a profit.
People that use fiat currency as a store of value, we call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. There's a name for them. We call them poor. We call them poor. Okay?
Right? Like, the point is, if you have the superior asset, it's going up forever, Laura. Forever.
Right, I mean, we can all look Bitcoin sort of as...
Forever, Laura.
People that use fiat currency as a store of value, we call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. There's a name for them. We call them poor. 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 Okay.
All right. Hey, everybody. Good afternoon on whatever day it is today. I want to say Thursday. I want to say it's Thursday. Let's go with that. All right. Today was actually a pretty decent day. I think I made about 20,000 across all the portfolios. Tesla obviously drove that number up a decent amount, even though it was only 2.21%. Some of the big ones, though, the big driver, Matterport, as far as percentage, that was 8.42% today. So I'm glad I bought 200 contracts yesterday with that one. Flux was up 7% today. Didn't hate that at all. And then CleanSpark was up 5.45%. So, and then SoFi and Square, they did all right, too. PayPal was the only one that really took a hit. I think I might have closed some contracts. I didn't get a chance to look. Yeah, man, I'm retired. And I'm in my basement. Today was a shitty day. Yesterday was beautiful. Today was shitty. So I lose track of time. That does happen. Like, days disappear. It's a curse and a blessing being retired. Let me tell you that. But yeah, so the portfolio today, it was nice to have an update. I think I might have bought some ARK G2. I might have had some contracts close on that. And I will update my portfolio tonight. Real quickly, looking at the shitcoins, it looked like a pretty flat day. Some down, some up, probably maybe negative 1% all in all. Doesn't really reflect well here on Coinbase for some reason. This is my main one. This holds out like 2/3 of my shitcoins. But really nothing to speak of. Pretty boring day. And you can see this too just within the altcoin market for the day. Really more down than up. A few of these popped. But for the week, for the month, it's kind of a mixed bag of nuts. I'd say probably like 65-70% down versus up. Now, the heat map for today across the markets was interesting. Electronic technology, Apple, Nvidia, AVGO, AMD, just a bunch of these chip makers too did really good today. And then again, large tech, S&P stuff did good today. But so did Tesla. Finance didn't do very good today. So I think we actually turned out all right for SoFi and PayPal and some of these others, considering, this sector got hit pretty good. And then health services got hit, and communication services, distribution services, just an array of different things that didn't perform well. All right, so the S&P is still finding support above the fib. I like that. Not too much to report on there. Up 0.74% on the day. Oh, I hate it when these disconnected messages. Trading View, just let me be across everything. You would make me so happy. Anyway, NASDAQ up 1.65%. So again, you could see some of those heavy hitters doing really well today, getting above the .618. I don't know, man. The PPI today, we're going to go over a bunch of different macro-related data points and economic data points today. But I got to say, things are looking good. Considering you look at the CPI and just the narrative yesterday in the morning, the sky was falling. And then in actuality, over the last 2 days, I've barely lost anything at all. Like, it's a small amount. It's like 1 to 2% of my portfolio over 2 days, which is nothing. I've got major asymmetric bets, so that's like nothing. All right. So again, the NASDAQ, the S&P are all above. Just coincidentally enough, so is the Russell, up 0.7%. Didn't do as well as the NASDAQ did. Nothing did. But again, above that support zone, and I think that's really promising. All right. Next, oil. Real quickly, wanted to talk about oil. So if we look here, we can see that oil has broken down underneath our previous upward trend line. So we like that. It started to see a little bit of a resurgence. Looked like it was building off support yesterday. Today it's breaking down through it. That makes me happy. And actually the energy sector as a whole was kind of taking a hit today as far as prices go. Natural gas, I'll show all that stuff in a little bit. The dollar up 0.06%, so kind of flat. But again, considering how well markets did today, still kind of need more of that risk on for some of my stuff to really perform. But considering how well markets did today, the dollar actually being up on the day, it's pretty decent. Now, I wanted to point to the MOVE index too. Again, this is the think of it as the bond volatility index. So there's the VIX for just regular markets. This is for bonds. And you could see where I was saying, hey, I was worried that we were going to break up. And we have been. So there's some craziness going on in the bond markets. They're screaming higher. Inversion, I don't think, is getting a lot better, though. Let me actually see if I have that chart. Let me see. 2-year bond. I'm trying to remember what I named this thing. It's been so long. 10. Yield curve inversion spread. Isn't that a creative name? All right, let's pull this up. Take a look. So again, you could see where all these times where you dipped underneath this red line, you had a recession, right? You had recessions. Didn't really have one. I can't say we had one in like 2020 because, again, things just got fucking crazy when we went higher. We got real close to the 0%, just maybe a hair underneath of it. But then we skyrocketed because of the pandemic. But as you can see, we were climbing and starting to uninvert. When you uninvert, that's usually the time the markets are falling apart. Traditionally, again, this doesn't have to play out this way, but traditionally that's the case in the narrative people use. So it's getting a little scarier up here, but it's since retraced and now it seems to be establishing a base underneath. So no real threats from the technicals on that right now to speak of. Now, again, I did buy some Cypher mining today. I bought some Tesla calls. I got some more Robinhood today. Robinhood was down like 3%. I think it closed up like 2.5%, maybe more. So all those worked out well, and I think I might have closed a couple of additional trades with ARKG and then maybe another Tesla one. I'm not sure, but I had a few more that were outstanding. Now, the Fear and Greed Index, I wanted to talk to this because this is kind of cool. So we actually hit 52 yesterday, so we were deep into the neutral territory. Now it looks like we're bouncing higher off of neutral. Again, just from a technical standpoint, we're hitting in all the right places. Now, I want to start off, now we're going to jump into the economic and macro-related stuff. And I want to start off with this article that was on Bloomberg and Yahoo Finance and like Seeking Alpha. And it says credit card delinquency rates were the worst on record in Fed study. That is scary, right? Credit card delinquencies are the worst, guys. The worst. Be frightened. Well, let's actually look at them. So what they don't tell you is on their record in their study, they only go back to 2012 conveniently. So it's the worst since they did their study for this very specific time frame that they wanted to make sure to choose. And I don't know why they want this narrative. If anything, you would think mainstream media would be pushing more to make the economy look strong. I don't know, but somebody had a narrative here that they wanted, an agenda they wanted to push out. Maybe it was just for clicks, right? It doesn't even have to be political. Maybe they just knew that if they said that line, that, what is it again? Credit card delinquency rates were worst on record. Maybe they thought that was enough. And you know what? It probably was. It got me to click on it. I'm sure it got a lot of people to click on it. But if we look at the actual data here, it shows that we're not even to the lowest levels of credit card delinquency in the mid-90s, in the 2006 range. We're not even at the lowest levels. So do you see how if you just read headlines, they can fuck you over and get you to believe shit that isn't real? Can you see that? I think it's pretty clear. So if you just follow like the one-liners and you never ever listen to the fucking articles, you are doing yourself a disservice. You're wasting your own time. All right. Getting into the rants already. Get up in here. All right. So this is a chart from Trillion Capital. I don't always agree with them, but I thought it was an interesting one. Oh, no, I don't want to go full into the article. Anyway, I posted this today. Not a lot of people clicked on it or reposted it. I don't think a lot of people read it on his end either. But and I guess I did it last night. But it just shows corporate debt as a percentage of GDP. And it shows the numbers that we're currently at. And it shows how it's just way lower than it was during the pandemic. So, again, maybe the sky isn't falling. Oh, there's a couple of these I've already shown. All right, one sec. I got to back up. I got to go back in here again. I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. That'll work better. All right, so the Happy Hawaiian, he had an interesting post here. He says, if I'm buying a property now at 7 to 8% rates, that's massive added expense. Definitely makes me want to try and raise rents as much as possible. So he's obviously like in the rental game, and he's saying, hey, if I've got to buy a rental property and it's going to cost me a lot more, then I'm going to raise rents when I acquire the property if there's already people there. And he said with low rates, as a small-time landlord, I'd leave rents alone for a good tenant. Yes, you would, because anybody who's tried to be a landlord understands that good tenants are worth their weight in gold, and there's no sense in nickel and diming them over 10 to 15% when you could have horrible tenants who could destroy everything you have. So again, the whole point of this message is that high rates can lead to rental inflation. High rates. People think we need to keep rates high so we can keep inflation at bay, right? That's the fucking narrative that we like to use. But high rates in this circumstance actually make it worse. So you have to think about things in greater detail so that you understand them. And I think it was a very good note, and I wanted to make sure to touch on it. Let me see here. You know what? These are sorted in just the weirdest order. I'm just going to go through my bookmarks in order. I don't know why, but like the sort function is just so stupid lately with X. Well, here you go. This is all right. Let me jump into here. This is one thing I wanted to talk about. I'll just have to figure out another way to queue these up. So again, I said we're seeing some relief across the energy sector. I don't show everything in here because Europe shows some higher percentages, but it's bullshit because they're still on like record lows from their really, really insane prices that happened after the war with Russia had kicked off. So, but what I wanted to show here is natural gas is starting to come down over the daily and even on the weekly. We're starting to see some of these break down. Gasoline's starting to come back a little bit. Brent, ethanol, propane, like everything, right? Everything is starting to slow down on the energy side. That's good. We don't hate that. Now, let me go. Like I said, I'm going to go back into here because I don't like the way this thing's pissing me off. I'm just going to go in here and do all bookmarks because for some reason, it just isn't showing stuff in the way order I wanted to show it. But I think it will here. So, Elon, if you could fix that shit, it would be greatly appreciated. All right, couple things. China's inflation rate. I posted this one yesterday afternoon. I can't even remember if I brought it up here, but I wanted to bring it up again. China's inflation rate is significantly lower than forecast. And this is the second largest economy in the world. And they're seeing basically almost going into the red, negative numbers. They're seeing disinflation. They're definitely trending towards that. And so we're seeing weakness in the second largest economy, but for some reason, we're expected to believe that inflation is going to kick into overdrive. And I don't get it. Let me just jump up here real quick. I think we talked about that yesterday. Here's an article that I liked, having to jump around, wanted to keep it on the economy, but I'm just going to do this so I can keep things in order. It's the Turkish lira, and it shows, he says, has literally gone to zero. I mean, not literally. He probably shouldn't use the word literally. Gone to zero against Bitcoin. I mean, technically, it was really close. It's 99.96% from where it was. So it's lost almost everything but 0.04% of its value in the last decade. It's pretty disturbing. Definitely wouldn't want to be somebody holding on to the Turkish lira. I feel bad for the people. I know a couple that are in Turkey and they just get fucked. Here's something else. So my friend Patrick Picasso posted this. He said, hearing more and more people jumping on board on what you've been preaching for a long time now. So I just want to play this real quick. We'll go back a hair here and just start this at the beginning.
Okay, so we can come to agreement that, well, the economy is really strong, therefore you don't need any rate cuts. And you don't really need one in June as long as you still think you're going to get one perhaps in July, as Josh suggested, and maybe another one into the winter. But how long is the market going to be patient enough to wait around for? What happens if July then is off the table? Is that the point of no return for the rally? I mean, at some point you have to believe that the market's going to throw its hands up in the air and say, you know what, maybe we're not going to get any. And that's going to be a problem.
So historically, what we've seen is that a lot of the rally in the stock markets occurs after the last rate hike. It's not predicated on the first rate cut. Certainly that helps, but I think there can be a significant amount of distance between the last rate hike and the first rate cut, so long as markets believe that's the direction we're going in. But having said that, I do believe that the Fed needs to cut by July, because we have to worry about the long lagged effects of monetary policy. It could be an 18 to 24-month lag. So we have to worry about the damage that may have already been done if the Fed doesn't start to reverse course.
That's what I was asking Josh about, the idea that if you stay too high for too long, you risk a policy error that may not be so easy to reverse.
Absolutely.
This is the other point that I think a lot of people are missing in regard to the Fed lowering, including the CME Fed Watch tool and all of these others. That is that there's an 18 to 24 month lag on what the Fed does and the outcome that it has on the economy. And if we're looking, and we look at Europe and we look at China and we see that they're in, a disinflationary, like borderline collapsing economies, depending upon which ones you're talking about, that's incredibly problematic. It's incredibly problematic, and we want to start signaling that we're ready to lower rates by lowering them one time. We don't even necessarily need to do it more. We just need to cause a change in sentiment before it is too late. And I think you're going to hear more and more people talking about this because it is the right approach. I believe that strongly. All right, this one right here from my friend Jeffrey Snyder. He's kind of a bear. That's probably why he's got the black hole there. Anyway, he's all right. I don't always agree with everything, but I did agree with this. I said PPI is better, so that's Producer Price Index, is a better leading indicator for inflation, and it screams that we're headed lower. Now is the time to lower rates. And what I'm showing here is two things. In the black line, he's showing PPI, final demand. He's showing how hard it's falling, and that CPI lags it. So PPI is telling us where we are, and it is 2%. Also, he showed this in Europe, harmonized indice of consumer prices. This shows PPI and HICP. But here's what you need to just think of it as the same as what we just looked at, except their weightings make it to where inflation comes down even slower. Look at what their PPI looks like. They are negative 2%. Negative 2%. This is coming down. We need to lower rates now. That's how this works. I want to be very clear. There's a whole bunch of different ways to look at this, but we should be lowering rates now. One sec here. I got somebody calling me. Let me kill that. All right. Steph Pomboy. Nothing about this chart suggests we have a strong labor market. Far from it. Full-time jobs down 1.3% year over year, and part-time jobs up 7.5%. So I think part-time jobs also are going to include a lot of illegal immigrants. But a 1.3% reduction in full-time jobs, I mean, this shows, and we've looked at it from other metrics, that there's a masking of what's really going on. But I probably disagree with Steph. This could be sustainable. We have to remember that we have like almost 10 million illegal immigrants since Biden's presidency. And again, I'm not Republican or Democrat. I actually hate both parties with about an equal dislike, but for different reasons. But there's something real here. I do think it's sustainable because of illegal immigration, though, because you have a lot of people that are willing to work, desperate to work, that are stuck here and sitting in big cities. And it's just a fucking disaster. If you don't believe me, look at New York, look at Colorado, look at all these places they're getting shipped to, and the chaos that's ensuing. It's a mess. All right, let me see here. All right. Oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about this with Hood, too. So we're going to bounce around a little bit. Again, I can't do all U.S. economy. I got to figure out how to bookmark these things to where they actually sort in the appropriate order that I posted them. That would be super cool. But Bitcoin volatility will be good for Hood because it increases trading. And I politely said that the city analyst that Amit had posted about was a fucking idiot because he said that Bitcoin volatility is bad for Hood, which is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard because volatility means they make massive amounts of trade revenue. And these guys get slippage. They're not giving you the exact price that it is on that particular indices because they do pay for order flow. And then they also make the commission. So like, people are idiots. This city guy, somebody fucking fire him. He's a moron. All right, I wanted to point out that right now, we're actually in the 7 days and a number of hours, so we have a week until the Bitcoin halving. If that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what does. We're going to drop from 900 new Bitcoin a day entering the network to 450. It's just one more component of imbalance between supply and demand, and it's a pretty fucking big one. So we know the demand is high. We know the pipes are open, and they're opening like crazy. And we can see this. Bitcoin Magazine talking about TD Ameritrade Bank releases commercial explaining the Bitcoin halving and promotes spot Bitcoin ETFs after. Why the fuck are they doing this? Probably because every bank and exchange will have to do this. Every one of them. Let's listen.
In early 2024, Bitcoin's price reached new all-time highs. But what's the cause? Well, Bitcoin's price is determined by demand and supply, just like a stock. If there's more demand from buyers than supply from sellers, the price goes up. But if the opposite is true, the price goes down. And recently, the new US spot Bitcoin ETFs have increased demand significantly, but there hasn't been a significant increase in supply. In fact, there's another event happening in April of 2024 that will reduce the supply of new Bitcoin entering the market. It's called Bitcoin halving. Bitcoin was designed so only 21 million coins can be created. But instead of flooding the market with all the coins at once, a supply of new coins is slowly released into the market every day. As the name suggests, halving cuts the supply of new coins in half roughly every 4 years. This will continue until around May of 2140 when all 21 million Bitcoin will be on the open market. So how has the price of Bitcoin behaved after the previous halving events? Well, following each halving, prices climbed up significantly.
I'm sorry, we have fucking bank exchanges pumping Bitcoin. These guys are FOMOing this shit to their investors right now. Listen to the rest of this. We're almost done.
Although history suggests that Bitcoin's price is ready for more new highs in 2024, it's not a guarantee. There are other factors that could greatly impact demand and supply, which ultimately determine Bitcoin's price. For more information about investing in Bitcoin with TD through ETFs, watch our video. And to open an account online with TD Direct Investing, click the link in the description.
Yeah, TD Ameritrade, guys. If people wouldn't believe, a decent number of boomers wouldn't believe these things when we would say them, people like me, they'd be like, these fucking kids nowadays, even though I'm old as shit. But they'll believe it from TD Ameritrade. You believe me. They will. All right, let's jump up here. My friend Seth, this is a good one. he's talking about the small cap advanced decline line. And he even posted this the other day. He's like, hey, what do you want to bet that we hit the line? What do you want to bet that we start bouncing off of it? And sure as shit, we did. Seth is a stud. He knows his stuff, man. He's a great guy. Also, my buddy Mortensen Bach posted something today that I happen to agree with. He's a little more diehard on the fact that we have to have a melt up and then we're going to have a meltdown. I'm not set on the fact that either one of those have to be what they think they are. There's a number of people some that fight back and forth about who came up with this thesis first. One of them used to argue with me all the time too. He's some old fucking asshole. I blocked him because he kept saying I was stealing his work, and I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck you are. But a number of them believe that the markets will melt up into this massive climax, and then everything falls apart afterwards. That can happen, but it depends on how sustainable the rally is, and what we do going forward, and then also a ton of geopolitical risk. So I struggle to be like, yes, this is definitely the path that will occur. I just can't be that way. I'm not a devout, person when it comes to markets. I'm just trying to analyze them all the time. So I think we're melting up based upon what I know right now. Could that change in the future? It might, but it says the conventional wisdom now is that interest rates and the dollar are on their way to new cycle highs. I don't share that view in any way. Financial markets are more fragile than people think, and the U.S. Treasury with Yellen in charge knows this. As a former Fed chair, one of the shittiest, she knows how to counter Fed's liquidity drainage tactics, and she has been doing it for a while now with success. Yellen will go very far to support. I do agree with that. And it says in 2020, it was a monetary bazooka. Very true. This time, it's a fiscal one. Risk assets love volatility, love liquidity. That's true. All this is true. I agree with him. So I thought it was a good post. I wanted to share it. Also, jumping to Tesla, this is a fun one. So you guys might know that BYD saw a 43% reduction, I think it was, in their sales year over year for Q1. Polestar also, they're basically a Chinese EV company now, to be clear. They were Volvo, but really it's being made out of China. It's all China now. But they dropped 40% as well. So if you start looking at Tesla's numbers and compare them against these other fucking shit shows, BYD is like the creme de la creme of EV makers in China, and they had horrible, horrible sales in Q1. Part of that was because they're pushing hybrids now, which is fucking stupid. I'm not even going to go into why. It's just ignorant and idiotic, and don't buy one. Please don't buy one. You don't do it. You don't need two engines. It's very expensive to maintain. But so when you look at Tesla's quarter, it doesn't look that bad. When you compare it to a 40% and a 43% reduction in sales, Tesla actually looks pretty great. So I wanted to make sure to post that from Sawyer Merritt over here. And let me see if I have some more stuff, since my bookmarks aren't working with the shit. I did post this, so I wanted to show this real quick. So I posted that I'll make about $8.5 million in profits off of Tesla, my leaps, if Tesla gets near $900, where it hits the .618 golden retracement zone. So that could be lofty, right? I could see people looking at that and being like, oh, that's like a 110% move from its previous all-time high. That's asking for a lot in the next 2+ years. Okay, fair enough. But I do think 600 is attainable. That's the next fib zone. And that is only 46% higher than Tesla's been. And so Tesla's traded towards nothing for like 3 years now. And I'm saying I'll give it another 2+ years for it to break through its all-time high again. I'm saying 330. But if we get to 600 and it goes up 46% from its previous all-time high, by that time, 5 years earlier, then I will make over $4 million off of. I think that's a pretty good number. Excited about that. A lot of outcomes that can happen. Nothing is ever guaranteed. But again, this is the joy of options, right? Is that if used properly and given enough time, and you understand what you're fucking doing, then you can make it to where you can invest in these trades and put in a lower amount of capital and potentially get really, really high returns. And that's why we do it. All right, real quick. I wanted to show this too. Bitcoin. I'm showing the monthly chart here. I wanted to point out how we perfectly hit and are bouncing off of. Again, this month isn't over yet. We've still got a couple of weeks, 2.5 weeks. But it's a beautiful looking chart. It's a beautiful looking chart, taking the previous 4-year, peaks and establishing support on them before running higher. And so I think again, we're making that run to the 92,000. I probably marked this arrow a little higher, like the 92,000 range is where the fib is. And so I think that's our next fib. I think that's where we could take a breather. And I think that could happen fairly soon. Maybe not by the halving, since that's only a week away now. I'm not going to make that claim. But, maybe by June. I think by June makes sense. And that's going to come a lot quicker than people realize. 2.5 months is not that far away. Let me see if there's anything else. I think is that it? Is that everything I wanted to talk about? Let me just make sure. I wanted to mention too, the CleanSpark. So Peru put this up. So there were some questions about an SEC filing that happened with CleanSpark today. The only thing that happened is they had an ATM offering that was $500 million, and then they had this new one that was $8. And so people were like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Is this $1.3 billion? Like, is the other one still bad? Like, what's going on? Today, they expired the $500 million, which let people know that the $800 million is the only amount that's going to be happening for the ATM. And so that cleared things up, and it caused CleanSpark to go a decent amount higher today. People seemed a lot happier knowing that there wasn't going to be a $500 million in additional funds coming in. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about real quick. Again, just looking at Bitcoin's chart, it did, last I checked, it closed above. Now it's 70,447. So again, we're just doing a great job. I'm going to show you another view here on Bitcoin's chart that I think you'll like too, that makes it look like it's in a diamond continuation pattern. So you're going to like it. You will. ARKK. It's a good thing it didn't KKK. That would be bad. Tesla is, it says Cathie Wood's largest holding account, largest holding now is Tesla in the ARKK fund, which is nice. Getting back to her roots, very proud of her. In regard to, so there was further conversation too about rates and renters. It says, don't forget about how much taxes have increased as well. So we got a number of things that are crazy right now that are causing pressure on the markets, where we really just need to open up liquidity and lower rates to help. And that's things like we said a second ago, if people buy rental properties at higher rates, they're more likely to charge more for rent. And so you'll see an inflation aspect there. Also, homeowners know this, their taxes have went up. The years have been rolling by, and all these inflated, especially if you're in districts where they had just massive inflation on the asset value of your home, your taxes went up a bunch. That sucks too. And then, so you have auto insurance going up. That was a huge number in the last inflation report. You have rentals having the potential of going up because of higher rates. And then you have taxes that are hitting people. This is taking away spending power. And so again, we need to lower rates. We need to open up the real estate markets so that they can find a natural balance. That's what makes capitalism great, is the natural balances that occur and efficient markets. We want to get as close to efficient markets as we can get. So we need to take some step back and lower rates. Again, that 18 to 24 month lag is going to be hitting us hard in the future if we don't. This is just my political rant here. I'm just gonna off of Elon's stuff. I wanted to say this person here, Rodrigo Constantino, and this has happened to judges. This has happened across numerous people in politics in Brazil. I would not own investments out of Brazil. I know DLO has business there. I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future, but this worries me. Their government, it says, my banking accounts were frozen. All my social media was under censorship, and my passport has been canceled just because of a bunch of tweets. That's what we have. That's what we've been facing in Brazil. So they straight up are taking people's livelihoods away and making it where they can't leave the country, and in some place imprisoning these people. And I'm talking like over 1,000. Like, it's a witch hunt there. They're very close to a communist dictatorship, and some of their closest allies are China, Russia, Iran, Venezuela. Like, it's not a good situation, and I just want people to understand, freedom and capitalism are at war with parts of the world and society that don't seem to understand their value. And it's a war that we have to win. Brazil's going to be on fire in months at this rate as people... I hope so, man. I hope they fight back. It's bullshit. It's really fucked up. They don't need to turn into China. They don't need to turn into Russia. Russia's probably the nicer version. You definitely don't want to turn into China. They're a surveillance state. So hopefully none of that stuff happens. I did not get a chance to watch the Cross-Border Michael Howell, or Cross-Border Cap Michael Howell interview from Michael Gayad, the CFA. I don't always agree with that dude, but I wanted to see the interview because I really respect Michael Howell. He's brilliant, and he helped me make a shit ton of money last year. Now, I was shitting in the Mara pigs. Now, don't get me wrong. If you own Mara, whatever, I don't give a shit. But the Mara pig people really bug the shit out of me. And they post the stupidest fucking things, like pointing out that, oh my God, look at the Mara pool. We're doing 43 exahash already. There's nobody that can even compete. And it's like, no, you dipshit. Have you even looked at this pool? It says that in the last 24 hours, it's like 12 exahash or 13 or some shit like that, or 14. And then up here, it also says 42.6 over 24 hours. This pool is a joke. It is stupid. It is inaccurate. Somebody else pointed out another one. Matt C. pointed out a different pool that said that they're probably at 19.3 exahash. I didn't get the URL on it. I'll try and get that. But this sounds more accurate to me. It's a 3-day average that he had selected. That sounds like a more real number that people can actually refer to. But don't believe these dipshits who don't even know how to do math. Okay? There is no fucking 43 exahash. These guys don't even have enough equipment deployed to come close to that number, even if they were at full 100% operational. So just don't listen to these people. They're too dumb. Please to God. Let me see. I think that's it. So we're gonna jump into some charts here real quick. Yeah, I think so. I covered this other stuff already. Oh no, there is one more. Yeah, this one right here. I thought this was interesting, and I think some people misread it. So this is from Banana, like the guy. I'm sorry, 3 bananas. Literally a picture of 3 bananas. Anyway, he's pretty interesting. He does have some good takes, and he says, you know how everyone wants or hopes or begging for or looking for a correction? ? He goes, maybe it just started, or maybe what if I told you almost a similar correction to the one in October that led to this rally, that led to the opening sentence above, has already happened under the hood, and it may lead to the next rally again, like it did in October. Would you believe me? And he said, well, the last time we went above the red line on the panic index was the end of October, and we rallied quite substantially. He's right. I mean, we were down. If you look over here, in October, we pumped up, dropped down, pumped up. But when we pumped up into here, like we are here, that was huge. The panic, like around that time, was when everything flushed out. When the panic was up here, everything flushed out. And if you go back here, these are probably similar timelines with other events. But we haven't. Like, the panic index has been low for a while, and it skyrocketed. So that's pretty interesting, too. All right, let me move on. Truflation looks like it ticked a little bit lower. I would believe this over government data. The CME, I think, actually climbed it back a little bit for June. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was lower yesterday. I think it was like 15% or less for a rate cut in June, and now it's like 22.6%. So it's about, it's now not 1 to 4, it's closer to 1 to 5, but it's becoming more possible. And again, I think at least by July we will see something. Just because we have to. You have to be forward looking. And I don't think enough people understand that. And that's what's going to make them wrong. All right, let me see here. Let me kill that. Kill this. Sorry, thought I had this better prepared. Oh, this I will keep up. All right, so we're going to look at Bitcoin. Whoa, dude, what's going on here? I'm just going to refresh this. This is being weird. Reload. All right. So here's the other. Let me see here. Is this with Bitcoin? Yeah. Is this, what is going on? Why are we? Okay, let me try this. Oh my God, that's better. All right, I'm going to jump to weekly. I'm going to kill this view. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And then I'm going to make an argument here. If we ignore the wicks, this looks like a diamond continuation pattern to me. And it looks like we're getting ready to exit it to the upside. So again, we know the monthly view looks tight, right? Huge wick if we stay up here. We know the weekly view looks interesting, like it could be a diamond continuation pattern. And we know a lot of the data looks very strong for Bitcoin right now. Again, just even the daily looks like a good chart, in all honesty. Let me bring her back. All right, let's take a look at other stuff. So let's roll through the miners real quick. Then we'll jump into the FinTech and some ARKG. Or actually, let's do MicroStrategy first before we hit the miners. Now, Bitcoin's at 70,634 already. Gosh, that seems like a good number. MicroStrategy, again, I pointed out the other day, I think this is almost like a bull flag if we ignore the wicks. And sometimes you got to do that. So let me just draw this again, just to visualize it, because I think people struggle sometimes to visualize. I'm so used to looking at this stuff that it's like I just glance at it and I'm like, oh, nice. But I think some people like the pretty lines. So again, bull flag, right? Looks like a bull flag. Looks like it's wicking up out of a bull flag and maybe turning into a bullish hammer. So I don't hate it. I think it's a good sign. Down 1% on the day today. I didn't buy any today because it was up almost 9% yesterday. So it just didn't go far enough down today for me to care. All right, let's look at CleanSpark. Again, CleanSpark had that nice news about the ATM offer, the original one expiring, which just really helped this stock. So, and then this downward trend too, like if you're going to break down, you're going to do it, right? But day after day after day after day that it just kind of grinds this way, it creates a bullish pattern because you start to turn, right? You start to see things oscillate and they want to flip around. Oh, I think I need a new keyboard. This is amazing. From bad computers to $200 keyboards that don't function right. Oh, breathe. So anyway, so we got this nice bounce here, and I'm starting to like it. It's kind of starting to feel like, again, almost like a falling wedge type thing, or it's a megaphone pattern and broadening, and we've got another run to go up to the 27, 28 range, just a doubling. I think that's becoming more probable. And I pointed this out in my post too earlier. We got about 56% upside to get to the previous high, 52-week high. And we got about 27% downside. I like that 2-to-1 ratio. It's not a bad number. All right, Cypher. Let me pull this one up. I'll pull up Mara too, just take a look real quick. Again, this looks good. This is a good pattern. I don't hate this. I don't know. Oh, I didn't look. I must not have pulled this up right. Let me go back. Or maybe I did. Yeah, there we go. Cool. All right. So yeah, I love that we are finding support off the previous fib. It's our first real time turning this into support, right? We're in our second week, or I should say that this is the first week where we've actually found support while coming down. So we were up here. That's great. But we tested down. We found support for the first time. We haven't done that in previous weekly charts. And if we look at the daily, this looks like pretty good support right here. So I'd say from a technical standpoint with Cypher, we're probably looking to go higher on this one. And it closed down 1.43%. I bought like 1,000 more shares today, over $250,000, I want to say, on this one. So I'm already doing quite well. Turn your keyboard upside down and shake the shit out of it. Yeah, I just got this fucking thing, but I hear you. I only got this thing. Like, this thing is like 9 months old or something. And it's got like mechanical. It's got my fucking name. It says micro to macro on it. I mean, it's like, it's pretty expensive. It's the Steel Series crap. it just pisses me off that it doesn't work good. It's a $200 keyboard. Oh, you blocked your work calendar, Kumar? I love that, man. I love that you're not working for this. That's probably a better investment. That's kind of what I did. That's how I retired, guys. Like, I read The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Great book. Taught me to, I was always the person at work that would sweat the little things, that would get just stressed out and nervous, felt inferior to everybody I worked with. I had issues with authority. Like, I had all these fucking problems. And I read The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And one day I went from like working 60, 70-hour weeks as a manager in the support department there. And I'd done other stuff too. And I just fucking started saying no to everything. I got fired at that place, but then I went to another place and I used those same principles, and it changed my life. It just, people respected me more because I'd be like, nope, I don't have time for that. Nope, doing something with the family. Or, you know what? I think Bob's way better at that. And I would promote other people and I would talk other people up constantly. And when I did that, people are like, God, he's really great. He always gives credit to other people. And then I sat back and I thought, oh my God, I've worked so hard, so many decades, like a couple decades of my life, just trying to get people to see me and understand how hard I'd been working. And little did I know, all I had to do was just not give a fuck and then give credit to other people. And then all the good things came my way. But then you know what? I wasn't doing any work. I was giving everybody else credit and giving them all the work. And so then I had time to watch inspirational videos, find motivation, research markets, and then get rich. Didn't happen quite that quick, but it changed my life over the years. And I used work. I would work 10 hours a day at my actual job that I was making at one point like $75,000 a year, working 10 hours a week. And I focused on all this stuff. So I'm not telling you to do that with your job. And if you get fired, I'm sorry, but that's how it worked for me. And I didn't hate it at all. All right, let's move on to other stuff here. I want to get into, let's do Tesla real quick. Tesla had a good bounce today. I like that. And now I can literally not give a fuck because I don't have a boss. Well, I mean, I still got a boss. I got a daughter and a wife, but they're not too bad. All right, so the daily time frame, we got our second day up above this previous resistance. I'm just going to get cocky and turn this green. We still have earnings coming up. That's coming, what day is that? That's coming on the 23rd. So not too far off, 12 more days. But outside of that, outside of some last hockey stick down because of earnings, I think we're going higher, guys. I think there's some good opportunities ahead. No better boss than wifey. No, you're right. All right. So, yeah. So I'm loving this. I'm loving that we were up 1.65%. I did get a couple more, I think 2 more contracts maybe. Cool. I do hope it drops more, though. I'm still holding on to that. I'm holding on to hope. I'm holding on to hope that it's possible. And Hood, up to lots of good today. Not hating the Hood. Boys in the Hood was a pretty good movie back in the day. All right, so we didn't even touch the fib. I just want to say that. And if you look here, we jumped 3.6%. We're up 0.1% after hours. And again, I bought this down like 3.5% today. So I'm already up, 7.5% off of that investment. Not a bad day for Hood. Thank you, Hood. Hood can go to 30. So, and probably will fairly soon. If Bitcoin does well, or if there's a lot of volatility, unlike that stupid fucking analyst who doesn't know what he's talking about from Citibank, this is going up. Whether it's good going straight up, or whether Bitcoin's falling and then going up, as long as it moves. So these guys are going to do really well. I have no doubts on that. Just an easy play. All right, PayPal. Pull PayPal up. All right, PayPal up, or I'm sorry, basically flat on the day. Down 0.12% in regular hours, and then up 0.17% in after hours. I would like to see us get back above this resistance line. We haven't really turned that into support for more than a day. So we had one day we were above it. So we need more days. We need more days. But you know what though? This looks like a nice pattern to go higher. It's either a descending broadening wedge, or like arguably a bull flag. But it can go higher. And I think it will. Now, SoFi, I've been kind of saying I think SoFi, it could just be a little bit weaker depending upon how banks do and with these higher rates. I mean, theoretically, numerically, they should do all right. And they're up 1.06 on the day, and then down 0.13% in after hours. So again, just kind of struggling here, but still curling up off of what I believe is a strong support. For confirmation of that, though, I want to see us get above 8. I really do. Because once we get above 8, I think it's an easy trip to the $10, 12 range. I think it's real easy. Waiting for earnings on Tesla to see if it goes lower to buy more options. If it goes up, I've got 380,000 or 70,000 or whatever that number was. So it's a lot. It's a big number. But yeah, I hope it drops more too. I do. All right, what else we got here? Let's do some Archie, and then we'll do Palantir, do some others, do all the normal ones, and then jump into requests. Trying to get a little quicker at this. A lot of the charts I've got saved now that you guys bring up, so that helps too. 1,175 days since ARKG's all-time high. It was up 0.41% today in regular hours and 0.22% after hours. We are riding this support line. I do plan on accumulating more 2026 only, and I think I did get some. I don't know if it closed, but I was shooting for I think $8,000 or something in contracts for 2026. And I think I probably got it. All right. And again, I'll update my portfolio tomorrow so you guys will be able to see the allocations and everything. All right. What else was I going to look at? Let's do Matterport. Matterport. Oh, loving this one. I'm loving Matterport. I'm loving Flux. Even DLO, I think, is going to turn around again here too. But Matterport up 7.89%. Really nice daily candle close. I'm glad we closed up high in the green here instead of lower in the candle. Down 0.48% after hours, but still, 2.05 is not a bad number. And I think this is going to continue to have some good days if people think that we're getting closer to rate cuts, which I think will start to be the narrative as the next couple of months go. But I also thought that the last couple of months. So what do I know? Flux. I mean, I think I know what reality is, but it doesn't always have to be reality. A lot of the times it can just be narratives for a long time. All right, I want to point out here that Flux is looking good, bouncing off this fib again. What was previous resistance appears to be support. I'd like to see us get above peak volume here and start trending up here. I think that'll be a real good sign for more upside price action, but you can't hate up 7.8% and then flatten after hours. Let me see what else. What else am I forgetting? DLO was down, I think. Maybe that closed up too. So why does TA work? SMR calls. Yeah. Why does TA work? It's not astrology. It's math, right? And if you look at the rules of the universe, like Fibonacci, if you look at Fibonacci, it appears it correlates with rules to the vastness of the universe and some of the largest bodies in the universe. And then it also works in the quantum realm and everything in between. So there's things we don't understand about reality that AI will be able to understand more in the future and that we can just barely grasp today, right? And TA is a math. It's like why Fibonacci appears in flowers and appears again like in just everything, and fractal pattern, like everything is like has these Fibonacci rules, and that's why we use them to try and figure out these trends. And they hold very true just based upon this hidden math that we don't fully understand. But if we can see that pattern, that it works, if we can see visually that it works, like, your fucking cell phone calls people, right? You can use it for internet, right? You can text with it. Do you know how all those protocols work? Do you know all the advanced technology inside of that fucking phone that allows it to do what it does, which allows it to communicate with other people at different radio frequencies depending upon what you're using, You don't know any of that shit, right? Most people don't. And yet you know it fucking works. This is the same thing. And people that say it's astrology are just fucking ignorant idiots that suck at pattern recognition. I feel bad for them. They probably don't make a lot of money. They probably don't find entries and exits well. So again, some people are just stupider than others. All right. Well, I said that in such elegant fashion. What's up next, guys? Let me see. I haven't looked at Ethereum in a while. I'm just going to jump over here real quick. Yeah, don't listen to that guy, whoever the fuck he is. Tell him to fuck off. SMR or something. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. If he's that dumb on that, what else is he stupid at? Negative 0.71%. So again, Ethereum got like a little wick. Hasn't really done much. I think there was the hype for the ETF narrative. I kind of bought into it because I think I purchased 40 grand. And I don't know, everybody got bored with that real quick. And there's some people refuting whether or not banks would even be interested in an ETF because the flows are just so much smaller. You're a little behind. New batteries. I don't know, man. Dude, I don't think I use batteries. All right, let me get in here real quick. What else was I going to look at? I don't know if there's anything else I give a shit about. Again, all these big ones are kind of doing their own thing. Let's look at your guys' requests now. Let's get to that part of the show, yo. All right. Diseased Kodak. How would you recommend someone retire early if you're saying mostly trade in IRA? There's some things you're going to have to figure out. So, again, I trade mostly in an IRA, right? Because I don't want to pay long-term capital, or I don't want to pay short-term capital gains on a traditional investment account. What I think people should do, and again, I'm not a financial advisor. Those people are much smarter than me. Joking. But I think that you max out your 401k, whatever the company, like if you have a company that does 50% match or 100% match on a 401k, you do that first because that's just guaranteed money. And then you have a separate Roth IRA that you can have that you probably want to max out too. And again, if you want it to where you have access to some of this money earlier, then you want to do a traditional investment account, but you want to buy and hold everything that you're putting in there for at least a year because you want to have it be under long-term capital gains so that you can pay the lowest possible tax bill. Now, for me, if I didn't make any income for a year between me and my wife, and I withdrew about $85,000 to pay some bills from a regular traditional investment account that had long-term gains in it, I would pay 0% in taxes. So on my off years where I'm not going to withdraw millions of dollars to, have some fun money, I'll just be pulling out. If I don't have an income now, I got a YouTube income, so that kind of takes away my previous plan. But I would just take out, $88,000 as like a maintenance expense at 0%, not actually even pay any fucking taxes that year. So there's all kinds of ways that you can use taxes to benefit you and this is in the United States. But here's what I wouldn't do. Don't cash out a 401k. Don't cash out Roth IRAs because they're the best tax advantaged at the end, right? No taxes at all on those. So that's the last fucking thing you want to pull out. And then the next thing would be like an IRA that you could pull funds out of if you really needed money. But then otherwise what you should be pulling out of is like traditional investment accounts. So, and how you get there for retirement is up to you, but those are the different vehicles that you have in front of you. Do some research. There's a bunch of good YouTube videos that can help you. Kumar Giodi, hello, is Jesse going live now? No, I wasn't. Silas, LLY, Eli Lilly, please. I certainly can, my friend. Let me pull it up. Pretty sure I don't have that one. So I'm going to type it in here. I remember hearing this stock like when I was a kid. That's how old this motherfucker is. Let's see here. Oh, this is a Steady Eddie, huh? Sure looks like one. Yeah, see, look at that. This is what we call a Steady Eddie. So you can tell that this company was doing bad. The 2008 financial collapse happened. They figured out how to get good. So if you would have bought them at their lows in 2008, you would have got this for $27, and now it's $759. It's a pretty good number, but it's a $722 billion company. So one of the biggest on earth. You know, like almost a part of that $1 trillion company group, which is an elite group. Revenue growth is 28% year over year. That's actually pretty astonishing. They made about $2 billion a quarter. PE is 131 and forward is 61. You're paying a premium because of the strength of this company. Their debt is high, but yeah, their debt's pretty high actually. What is their debt? They have I'm sorry, what? Is that $18.3 billion or $18.3 billion in debt, and then roughly $2.9 billion in cash. So that's not a super great number. Revenue estimates are going up. They're probably going to make $2-3 billion next quarter. The thing I don't love is I don't know. There's just not a huge asymmetric. This thing's already done really good. This is done really good, dude. So if you made a lot of money off of this, I personally would be finding other opportunities. Or if this is just like, if this gets you a good dividend, probably has a dividend. Yep. If it gives you a decent dividend, what is their dividend? Yeah, if it gives you a decent dividend, then I can see why people hold it and why they pay a premium for it. Because they like it. They make a lot of money off of it. But let's just go back here. What is this? So where was 2020? So March, nope, that's October. All right, so right around here. March 2020, $119 stock. Now it's $759 with 28% growth. And it's, if it doubled, it would be a $1.45 billion or trillion dollar company. So I wouldn't expect it to double again. Not for a while. It will be a lot slower than some of the stuff I'm looking at. Intelligent Computing. Hey, Jesse. FYI, Fiverr just announced a $100 million share buyback. Cool. And Rocket Lab won $200 million contract from the U.S. Space Force. That's cool. But I still just don't like, again, at least with Rocket Lab, and I know that's one people love. I just don't know why, because it's such a fucking hard space to be in. And sure, they got a contract, but here's the thing, man. They still lose money. Their revenue for Q4 was $60 million, and they lost 50.5. So they lose basically almost everything in net income losses. And it gets worse. If I look here, if I remember the estimates, yeah, so their revenue's jumping. They've got some of that forecast in. And again, maybe this shows even higher. But when can they make money? And they're a rocket company. And that's like the hardest fucking thing to do, man. And their cash flow sucks. Their cash is burning down. They needed these contracts. They needed them. Eli Lilly? Oh, well, shit. If they make Manjaro, they're gonna do really fucking well. So yeah, if you want a good dividend and a steady eddy, then keep it. Because I mean, Manjaro, I don't see that going anywhere. Some of the others like Ozempic have maybe complications that weren't well advertised, but I haven't heard any of that kind of stuff for Manjaro, if that's what Eli Lilly makes. If I jumped into that correctly. All right, let me see here. And what was the other one you wanted to look at? Oh, just Fiverr. And that one I'm probably more excited about. Just because they're getting towards positive net income. These guys are $803 million market cap. Let me do something real quick. I need to expand my screen to get it to where my screen is brighter. All right, $803 million market cap. They're starting to make some money. They made $91 million in revenue. This last quarter, they netted $4.7 million. Not a super great number, but their forward PE is now 10. So that's getting better versus the current 244. And if they got another contract coming in and they can keep controlling costs, This could do even better. I mean, again, they were already guiding kind of higher for their EPS and revenue. What were they last time? They were 10% revenue growth. So hopefully this helps them out more. I know they've been hit for a bunch of reasons. All right, let me see. I'm going to move on from this one, though. But yeah, so that might be interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still not there. There's so many other things I'm interested in. I don't want to spread myself too thin. Thanks for what you do. You're welcome. And let's see. Does the measured move from a symmetrical triangle that BTC is trading in around right now on the daily get us to 8,500 or thereabouts? No, I think it actually, I mean, I think 92 is our real number. And I can show you why real quickly here. I think 92 is where it is, and from a number of fronts. Let me just zoom back a little bit here. So one, if you kind of call this, yeah, that symmetrical triangle, depending on how you look at it, just right from here to here, yeah, I could get you there. But also, if we looked at this as more like a flag that's, or I should say a pennant that's breaking out, then we'd go back to the previous handle. And so if we draw that, just like up to here, it could be an even higher attempt, like getting us up into the 90s, or at least, again, we'd hit strong resistance at the golden retracement zone at the 92,000 level. And if I look at where we are right now on the RSI for the daily time frame, I mean, we could get back, Bitcoin can totally get into the 80s and 90s. Like 90 is dead, but you could get into the 80s, well above the 70. And if we get up to like 92,000, we're probably pushing up to some of these other peaks that we saw over here. So that would probably be a strong area of resistance, I believe, as well. But yeah, just because we're going to be in price discovery, and I think it can really want to roll until it just hits some strong resistance. So I think that's probably more likely in my mind, or maybe 90. 90 is kind of a psychological barrier too. But I think at least 92 personally. All right. Intelligent computing, nice bump up on Flux so far today. Yes, it's done well. Sean 919. Hey Jesse, what's up, man? Would you please do a look at Elf, a cosmetic company rapidly taking market share from legacy brands? Pretty big pullback recently. Curious of your thoughts. I know this is Jeremy's. I know he's big on Elf. I don't know if I have this one on here. I'm not really big into the cosmetic space, so I can't tell you as much as that man can. He has a strange amount of knowledge in the cosmetic industry. Pays a lot of attention to it. All right, so they did have a pullback. You are correct. Let's see, what are they? A $9.28 billion company. I want to look at their financials because I think I've looked at them before, but it's a long time ago. Let me see here. So revenue growth, 85% year over year. You can't shake a stick at that. Let's look at the yearly real quick too. Definitely a good ramp since like even 2021. I can see why Jeremy made so much money off of this. Let's see what they're making though. I mean, but still, like 30 million a quarter off of a $9.3 billion company. It's a little rich. I mean, PE 74, forwards 46. It's the high growth rate, I think, that's helping this out a lot. Their debt, what happened last quarter? Their debt and their cash position kind of inverted from each other. Their operating expenses aren't scaling great, and their cash flow dropped to negative. Let's see what is the estimate? It said they're going to get better in Q2 again, and that revenues are still kind of growing, looking okay. I don't know. Lots of selling here, more selling than buying from insiders. Haven't really seen insiders going in on a while. Institutional ownership's good. This is kind of turning into a steady eddy where it looks like it could go up, but I just think based on the valuation, it's a little rich. Stock-based comp is 4% of revenue. Again, it's good that we're getting, it's good that their revenues are going up. I wish their expenses weren't going up. It's just not separating itself enough to me for a company that has a valuation of over $9 billion. Personally, what's their revenue? 270 million. I mean, it's a decent number, but again, they're guiding to like 30 or 40 million. That's just not enough. That's not enough for me. All right. Jason G, MBLY, please. Let me look at since I'm in here, I'll look here first. MBLY. Yeah, so that one's okay. I don't know if they probably don't pay a dividend on Alpha. I doubt it. But it just doesn't get me super excited. Mobileye. 13% growth year over year. Buy Tesla. I don't know. This is what Professor Amnon Shashau, Israel. These guys do. Is this just auto part? Is this just for cars, or do they do more than that? Can you tell me more about Mobileye? I know the name from a while ago, but I don't know like what their product line actually looks like. I'd be really curious to know. I can pull up some of it. Wow, big dip in revenues. Cash flow's positive, but let's see. What did they make? 63 million. $25 billion company. I don't know. This is one where I'd have to know I'd have to really know what makes these guys special, since they're not even profitable and they're $25 billion. That's my take. I don't even need to look at the chart to tell you more. All right, Albert Pavli. Okay. Hi, Jesse. Do you think that the market today looked at CPI and PPI and basically said, nah, it's bullshit. Inflation is an old narrative. Cut the rates. Be done with it. Let's move on. I think that's what they're seeing. I think they know that. I think they have. I don't know. I think they don't care about inflation. I think that they do think it's an old narrative, and I think that they have some faith that Jerome will lower rates because it's the right thing to do. That's my take. I think that's a similar one to Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock. And then you've got J.P. Morgan and Jamie Dimon, who have the exact opposite thesis. Jamie Dimon thinks we're going to 8%. He said we could go as high as 8%. So he thinks the world is falling apart. And he could be right. I mean, you never know. If we go to war, shit's going to get weird. But I think Bitcoin does really well in that. So whatever. Constantino Lima. Hey, Jesse. Been with you since Get Rich or Die Mining. Oh, my God. Wow. How do you feel about NTDOF or NTDOI? They're both Nintendo. I haven't looked at them in so long. I don't know. Let me take a look. I got to see what their financials look like. Are these just on different indices? Is that why they have the different ticker? Did I spell that right? Can I not see? Okay. NTDOI. What's that one? All right, whatever, dude. What's going on here? All right, give me a second. Let me see. What were the stickers again? NTDOF, NTDOI. Why am I not seeing these on here? All right, NTDOF. Dude, do we not have Nintendo on here, Alejandro? If you don't have Nintendo, bro, we're gonna need to fix that. We need to fix that stat, Ali. Oh, you know what? This could be an issue. Let me do one thing real quick. This could be an issue where sometimes if I haven't been in here in a while, or just very rarely, it can time out. So I just want to take a look here and see if that's it. But I don't want to do it where you guys see me log in. So just give me a second here. Let me see. NTDO. Just double checking here. Dude, I don't think I can see this one on here. All right, I guess. All right, Alejandro, you got to fix that, bro. We can't have Nintendo not being available. That is unsatisfactory, my friend. I'll send you a DM too. All right, so let's look it up over here in TradingView. NTDOI. God, I can't type for this shit. Nintendo. So this is the OTC, based out of Japan. How are these guys done in revenues? I just got to look here. I'll look from here since I can't look from there. Annually. Ooh, declining revenues. Not super great. Q3 of 2023 got better. Do we not have 2024? How often do these guys report? So, I don't know, man. Not super great. I don't know. What's the market cap on this one? $59 billion company. Let me just see what else I got here. Price to earnings. I mean, it's selling pretty cheap. Price to earnings is not high. There's just nothing exciting about Nintendo. I think that's the shitty part. And then just these declining revenues, too. I just don't know when Nintendo becomes interesting. And here's what I worry about. Outside of, like, the Mario movie and stuff like that, like, oh, I don't know. I just don't know how well they're going to do. I don't have much to say. It's still, like, the valuation is fair, depending upon how you look at it. And I just don't know if they do better in the future or worse. It looks like it's in decline. Even the chart looks kind of like it's curling over. I don't love it. And this is going back on the weekly, so I don't love this pattern right here. Looks like it wants to roll over. That's my take on Nintendo. All right, let me see here. Wild Frenchie, bonjour. It just feels like BTC wants to rip much higher very soon. Exciting days ahead. I agree. Also, disappointed that Tesla is pushing higher. I want to buy more cheap leaps. I agree. Can you have a look at you? Clear Secure. Thank you. Yeah, let me do that. Let me save Elf on a shelf. And then pull up you. I remember when Nintendo used to be like one of these stocks that you wanted. Oh my God, is my Q going out now too? Jesus Christ, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this keyboard. $200. $200. For a keyboard that doesn't work right. Anyway, Clear Secure. Revenue growth, 33% year over year. I like that. PE 61, a little rich, but starting to hit some positive net income. Decent revenues. $1.8 billion company, not huge. What's the estimate? Getting a little better. Institutional selling more than buying. Happened. So that's about where that is. Institutional ownership started rolling over, coming down over the last couple quarters. Short interest is high. 14%. Let's go back over here. I like the separation between revenue and operating expense, but again, there's just some weirdness going on here. Let's look at cash flow. Cash flow looks all right. Operating expenses look like they're dropping. They've got lots of cash. Why is there 14% short interest? What do these guys do? Software application, New York, New York. Aims to streamline and secure daily activities by leveraging your identity. Oh, we looked at this one before. Yeah, okay. I think I've got it on my list. Yeah, I mean, it's not a horrible looking one. I like the growth year over year of 33%. I just need to learn more about the company, probably. It's not bad. $1.8 billion valuation. Let's look at the actual ticker and see. I know I pulled this one up before, so I'm going to try and find it. Hopefully. Oh, it's hitting Q. I didn't hit Q. All right. Yeah, it's been playing down for a while, and it looks like it's finding some volume level support here where it was previous support. I like that. I think it could curl up. I don't know what the options contracts look like, but I will take a look. This is on my radar. I will just maybe move it up a little bit. Now my Q is fuck. All right, anyway. Before it was my A, now it's my Q. Awesome. All right, trying to buy my baguettes with sats. Did that work out for you, Wild Frenchie? Make sure you're using Lightning Network if you're going to do that. Otherwise, that's a lot of sats. Marty McFly, such an awesome intro. Thank you, man. I think it's cool because the first part's meaningful and the second part is just kind of fun. Tristan, thoughts on you? Let me pull up you again so I can remember what the chart looks like. Oh my God, this hitting the K thing is freaking me out. I gotta or the Q. Oh. All right, so this chart is still super depressed. $10 billion valuation. And this is Unity, right? Are we getting a Q? Oh, we're getting a Q? That's great. Let me see, Unity. I love software companies. I hate the net income bleeding, man. The $252 million in losses for last quarter is fucking insane. They only made $609 million and they lost $210. The debt is high. I think that They've got positive cash flow. That's good. Let's look at it. We're seeing declining revenues now for the next 2 quarters and just plan on losing money even more. Somebody believed in the company in 2020. Not a lot since. Not buying a lot from, insiders. Short interest is fairly high. What are we at? 13%. I don't know, man. What's stock-based comp on this one? 29% of revenue. 29. Hey, at least they're taking care of themselves, right? At least they're making money. You got to buy that next $10 million house. So you got to feel bad for these guys. Yeah, I cannot get behind this, dude. I want to give a shit about this. Seems like, a decent amount of retail does. But I don't know how I can when they're burning this much money. That's all I got there. All right, let me see. What else? We're past the baguettes. C-list. Oh my God, sensible propaganda. Oh yeah. Okay. Intro. Hey, Jesse, Frenchie, Marty. Everybody saying hi to each other. Love that. Please look at ARM, Gartabo 33. I certainly can. And I know I haven't loved ARM, and I can probably reiterate that. I don't know. Maybe things got better on the chart. Maybe it collapsed off the face of the earth, and now, oh, I love it how it puts a Q in there. That's so awesome. All right. Revenues going up the last couple quarters like that. 1 billion, 14% revenue growth. $134 billion company with a 1,259 PE and an 86.96 forward PE is fucking crazy. It's so overvalued. I just don't know what to say here. Even if the PE was like 300, it could technically be overvalued. It's 1,259. That's all I have to say about ARM. Thursday, mofo. Ah, yes, it is Thursday. There we go. Dustin P11. I picked up 100 more Clean Spark shares. Probably will complete my allocations. Cool, man. I think hopefully we're done. We're done. We've hit a bottom. Can you look at Beam? This is a shit coin, right? Is Beam a shit coin? Can you tell me if it's a shit coin or if it's actual stock? And then I'll pull it up. Intelligent Computing. BTUSD has typically doubled in value the 2 months following the breaking its previous all-time high. Yes, I agree. Yeah. Because it's already broken the all-time high before the halving, I think that it could still follow that rule. Beam. Oh, genomics? Okay, cool. All right, thank you. Just wanted to make sure, because there's a shit coin called that too. So hard to keep up with everything. Oh, if that Q comes up one more time, I'm going to flip out. All right. Whoa, Beam has revenue, guys. What the fuck is that about? Can somebody tell me? They made money. A 30-year-old. Maybe that's what I need, because I got a $200 fucking keyboard, and it's shit. And I've tried it on both computers, my Mac and my old one, and it's doing the same thing on both. Sucks. Net income, 142. What has happened with this company? Oh, and then it's just going right back to normal. Like, we're just doing this, and then we're just like, fuck it, I want to lose money again. Cool. That's cool. So they're diluting you at a decent clip. Luckily, they got a lot of cash in bonds. Probably paying some bills with the $750 million in bonds. Operating expenses climbed. They had positive cash flow for the first time since like 2022. Huge revenue growth, but I mean, can we really count it if the estimates show that it all goes away again? I don't know. Again, this is one of those, I think Beam is like in the ARK fund. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. This is growing in institutional ownership. It's still got like 20% short interest. I don't know what's going to happen with this. I mean, they can just keep diluting people, right? And 174% of their revenue goes to stock-based comp. So this is a company that's really doing a good job taking money from people by diluting stock. Does that mean anything? Do they have a real product offering? Are things going to be a lot better in the future? I don't have any fucking idea, man. It was good for a quarter, but maybe there's some weird anomaly there. It doesn't, if their forecasts aren't remotely good or we're not seeing a continuation of growth, I just get bored. This chart's insane. Like, all these data points are insane. 174% stock-based comp. Cool. Take my money. Do whatever you want to with it. Buy a new house. Intelligent computing. Bitcoin, USD is typically... Okay, we already did that. CLIS, it's the MSTR showing its independence from the Bitcoin. I think both Bitcoin and MicroStrategy are doing great. And Bitcoin and MicroStrategy actually led that. That's what James from Invest Answers was saying. And I agree with it. Intelligent computing. Anyone here playing the Semiconductor 3X ETF? I personally will not be. Yeah, no, I'm not interested. Intelligent computing. The FUD is strong with MSM. Yes, it is. Not sure why though. They just love getting clicks, I guess. Whatever they say, they don't even give a shit. I don't even think it's always political. I think it's just about money. Bad things get clicks. You want to make things worse. It scares people. People want to survive. Our monkey brains from the way back want to make sure that we stay alive. That's what they're designed for. So they look for fear more than not, right? So that's why we click on fear more, pain more, suffering more. It's more enticing. We want to make sure that it's not coming to us, or we'd rather see it with other people and not us. I don't know. Vince Grammatico. Hi, Jesse. MGA. Thanks. Sure, man. MGA. And a Q. Oh, that's great. Another Q. Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, let's see if we can get back. Oh, click on it. Okay. That's a fun game. All right, revenue growth, 12%. Hopping on a flight. Thank you for the recap. See you tomorrow. Bye, Wild Frenchie. Have fun, man. Safe flight. All right, 12% revenue growth. Again, just kind of nothing exciting here. They had share buybacks for a while. It's kind of just flatlined. If I go back years here, it actually maybe is a downward trend in net incomes and arguably an upward trend in revenue in the last 4 years. Shares are coming back. Let's look. What are our estimates? Kind of flat to up. It doesn't really seem like anybody gives a shit about this company. It's probably just going to do boring amounts of money, which is why the PE is so low. It's just kind of boring, maybe dying, still bringing in money, still bringing in positive cash flow. I don't see anything too interesting here. Valuation doesn't look, too crazy based upon what I'm looking at in the chart. All right, let me see what else we got. Intelligent computing, emit 100%. CLIS, if we just accept 3% inflation for a while, we could more easily resolve the conundrums. Here's the thing. I think it's already too late. I think it's under that. If you look at real core data, I know there's some people based upon political affiliations that want to believe one way or the other, but I think the actual data tells us if it's not under that, it's going to be there super fast, and we got to prepare ahead, and we've got to lower rates. At least a rate cut just to show that people can still invest and that the markets are open for business, and that the economy is open for business, more importantly. Emit, CLIS, I think that'll be the case. All the politicians want to keep their jobs. True. Intelligent computing, emit, the politicians want to keep their heads. True. CLIS, Jesse, that's not fair to put Turkish lira next to BTC. It's lost like 90% to the dollar. Yeah, and the dollar is shit next to Bitcoin too. There's a lot of currencies that are shit next to the world reserve currency, because if we're printing money and they can't, they're fucked. But that doesn't mean that the dollar is a great currency. It is fucking trash. It's fiat. Any country, anytime a major country has passed 100% debt to GDP, they're pretty fucked. There's very few that have done that and come back. Now we could. Japan did that. Still around. China's 310 to 320% debt to GDP, and they've kept that shit show going. That's going to implode. there's any destruction in the world, it's probably them, but it doesn't mean the dollar is valuable, and it doesn't mean that comparing the Turkish lira to Bitcoin isn't still insightful. Intelligent computing, smash the like, agreed. Please smash the likes, comment, both in here if you're chatting back and forth with people, or you're just, throwing in comments after the fact. It all helps. And if you share, that's even fucking more awesome. And I appreciate you guys. Everybody that helps in some way monetarily or just chatting, you guys are great. Thank you. Hello, Jesse. Please take a look at ACCD. All right. ACCD. What time is it? 4:30. All right, I got a little more time. Revenue up 9%, not really growing too much, not making money. $671 million company. Net income's getting worse. So the more money they make, the more they lose. I hate it. Okay. Unless you got more to add, that's it. Don't doubt Turkish lira has been a terrible inflation, but Zimbabwe took the gold medal. And yeah, but it doesn't matter. I mean, who fucking cares? When you've destroyed 99.9% of the value of your currency, it doesn't really matter which country did it better. They're all fucked. Fiat is fucked. All around the world it's fucked. I know it's fucked because the world reserve currency is probably fucked unless we start really aggressively adopting Bitcoin and embrace future technology to help pull us forward, while trying to find some semblance of being able to balance a fucking budget and lowering the amount of government. We need that. All those things need to coincide. And then we need to not have a major world war. So we could be fucked too. Eugene Gorodetsky. Hello, Jesse. Please take a look at ACCD. Oh, I already did that one. My bad. Intelligent computing. Fuck the parties. Bring the AI overlords. I just hope the AI is more... I mean, it's probably going to be more logical, but I'm afraid of that too. Intelligent computing. Political party says... CLIS, okay. TRY down 93.43% to the USD. Yeah. TD Ameritrade becomes Charles Schwab in like 30 days. Yeah, maybe. Intelligent computing, CLIS, USD, TRY is... Okay, we're talking about that. So moving on. How does one eclipse Jesse with balloons? I think I'll move to Interactive Brokers rather than be Charles Schwab. SK, hi Jesse, brother, can you look at Grab for Leaps play? I can look at Grab later. I've been meaning to in regard to Leaps. Let me just make another note and add it towards the top of my list if I don't get a bunch of Q's in here. But, oh my God, I can't even. Grab Leaps play. I can take a look at that later. I can take a look at that later and respond back. I'll try and get... I've been promising videos and I haven't done it. There's just been so much going on. I've really been focused more on the macro and just trying to understand the broader markets. But I will push those things up my list later here and probably make... If I'm interested in it, I'll make a video. I did do one pass already and was not interested enough. Super bullish because they only need the 800M. What was that, Smokey? Who's that? Oh, CLSK. You're probably talking CleanSpark. Thomas, hey, Jesse. Thanks for all you do and keep it up, bro. You're welcome. Thank you. Simple short quotes. Brazil is going to be on fire in months at this rate because people have to fight power. Yeah, we talked about that. Brazil's a mess. It's a dictatorship. That's how quickly you can go from a democracy to a dictatorship. It can happen with one vote. Lisa Marie, good day, Jesse. Noticed your Rivian members video out there, but you've changed your sentiment. Yeah, drastically. I think it's a shit company. Is the long-term sentiment because you have recent numbers? Yeah, their recent numbers and their forecast. They forecasted horrible fucking numbers in their last earnings report. It was shocking to me how bad they were looking. And then their new model doesn't even come out until 2026. And I don't even know if they have enough runway to make it till then. If there is a recession, the company's gone. I have no doubt it's going bankrupt. So no, I'm not interested. And the shorts aren't worth it either. CLIS, Intelligent Computing. No, it's 99.6% with BTC. I can't tell the exact number. Intelligent Computing. Nope. All right, that same conversation needs to die. Constantino Lima. Jesse, you're the man. Seriously, dude. I can't appreciate what you do enough. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, man. Maytag. Hey, Jesse. I enjoyed doing a few weekly Mara puts. Amazing premiums. Was willing to risk owning it on their. Yeah, that's probably pretty reasonable on their Bitcoin stash. Had some company concerns. I stopped like a bad habit. Keep up the great work. Yeah, again, like I like the stack. There's just weirdness around like what their actual pool numbers are. Why are they so fucking inefficient? A lot of it sounds like it's just because they don't own their own stuff, which they used to think was bullish and a good narrative, and now it's a bad narrative, and they're trying to switch out of it. Then they're doing stable coins, and then they're just doing a ton of stuff. I like Fred Thiel, the CEO. I actually think is brilliant, but they're just all over the map, and I think that makes them hard to value, and that's reflective in their stock price most of the time. It just has not done well, especially compared to like a CleanSpark or even a Cypher lately. Mark LeBlanc, I showed my missus my bullish hammer on her lunch break. She did not laugh. If it makes up for it, I did. Richie Mello, did you ever check I? Is that what it is? Can you tell me what that company is? Kumar Giodi, hey Jesse, Intelligent Computing, micro to macro, turn on keyboard upside down and shake it. Yeah, I've got to. Kumar, bro, I blocked my work calendar. That's fucking hilarious. I laughed earlier at that. Okay, starting to get down here. Beam is in ArcG. Okay, cool. Good to know. HNVR small bank interests. Let me see. All right, I'll look at that one. Oh, what was it though? Gotta remember this. HNVR. Trying to find it here. HNVR. Banks, huh? Wow, that's wicked revenue growth. Do we know why they went up? Pedro, Jesse is the best. Thanks, man. Do we know why they went up so much? Can you tell me that? Half my BTC, CLIS, half my BTC and MicroStrategy, etc. I know the problems with fiat, but nation states will keep wanting their own. Yeah, they want their own currencies, but if they can't manage it, then nobody's gonna fucking buy their bonds or help them, right? Like, so the nations that can't manage their own finances should switch to something stable, that isn't going to be printed. So, I mean, that's the thing that'll save them in the end, to be very clear. Hanover Bank Corp. Again, huge pump in revenue. Not sure what that's about. Net income, $3.7 million, $5 million. It's a $99 million market cap. This is a tiny-ass bank. Can you give me any more details on it? It's so, like, small banks. I don't know. The banking sector doesn't intrigue me at all. Outside of like SoFi, Hood, PayPal, like the fintech stuff, traditional banking, I definitely do not care. Yeah, so that's probably all I have on this one. There isn't much to say. It's a low PE. Again, though, small banks, I just worry about them and how well they're funded and will they exist and will there be consolidation in a recession. Would SoFi make it? Maybe more so than like whatever this is. It's just so small. All right, let me see here. Let me get caught up. Might have missed a few. Hopefully not. Oh, geez. No, I'm way down here. 4. Stephen Mark Ryan. Let me see. All right, I think I missed a few comments, but Stephen Mark Ryan, YouTuber, all in on Tesla. I'm a little bit behind. Maybe your keyboard is. All right, 4, please, from MTN Off Grid. I will pull up 4. And Q, evidently, because I have so many fucking Qs. All right, so revenue going up, net income kind of flat, 10 to 30 million, something like that. 31% revenue growth year over year. PE and forward PE aren't bad to look at. Cash pile's burning down a little bit. Positive cash flow. Guidance looks okay. Looks like it's picking up. Looks like they're going to continue to grow. Revenue actually gets a little pop in Q2 if they're right. I don't hate that. I just don't know enough about this company. Like, are they going to be beating expectations a lot. Do we know? Like, do we know what they're actually building and like all the inner workings? I just don't know. I love it when I know, when I see an opportunity and then I do the research on a company and it just looks really, really good. That's when I get excited. I do like the operating leverage a lot on this one. I like the expenses are really have went nowhere, but as revenue goes up, they seem to be pocketing some of that. Tanner wants to give Ford the tip. Does he like Ford? Is that one he's interested in? Maybe I should talk to Tanner about it, do a video. Let me read it real quick. Shift4 is a payment provider, integrated payment processing and technology solutions, offering a comprehensive omni-channel ecosystem that encompasses more than just payments, but also a variety of e-commerce enabling services. Their technology supports over 350 software providers across multiple industries, such as hospitality, retail, e-commerce, securely processing over $200 billion in payments for more than 200,000 businesses in 2019. Interesting. I mean, the valuation doesn't seem crazy. I just don't know how well they're going to do in the future. If it's a play that's just going to really grow a lot. It looks like the revenue gets a bump up here. And if it's fintechy, maybe it just grows with the entire ecosystem and does all right. I love options plays. That's what I've really been focusing on right now, though, because I love the asymmetric returns. I think we're at a great time for them. So this one I'm not too interested in, but I'll pull up the chart and tell you at least where I think it can go. And then I might bail after this one. I don't know. I'll catch up on a few more comments. I think I got pretty far down the list. Let me look in here though. So 4. Looks like it's finding peak volume, which I like. It could maybe break out and get back up to the .618 at the 77 range, but I wouldn't expect, I don't know, unless they just really start outperforming. It's a $5.5 billion cap. PE seems about right. So it just all depends on what they end up doing, but you're not going to see really good asymmetric opportunity here. All right, let me look, see if there's anything else. At least a bit. BTC will force discipline and attention, in my opinion. It will force. Here's the thing: the nation states that want to be able to print money, they'll have to do a really good job, or they'll be taken over by an entity like Bitcoin, and then maybe stable coins that tie to it if the U.S. dollar dies. Otherwise, they'll have to use the U.S. dollar or something. It's gonna force a lot of countries to be fiscally responsible, whereas they've been able to get away with murder for a long time because of Keynesian economics and its ability to be able to play out over a long time before it eventually implodes. It's not like this is the first time something like that has existed. The Romans did it. A bunch of societies throughout history that ran the world used the money printer until they no longer could. It's just got a different name now. It's the same fucking shit. All right, I think we're good. I might have missed a few here, but I think for the most part we got them all, or got a lot of them. So if I missed you guys, come in, tomorrow, come in early, try and get the stream up quicker, and then we can figure it out, and I can look at your charts, and we can go over stuff. But I gotta say, I'm pretty bullish right now as far as sentiment and just general markets and where I think things are headed. It does feel like this is a solid location for a good bounce, and it feels like that's what we're starting to do, and we're doing it off of bad news, and that's my favorite kind of bounce, is when it's coming off of bad news and everybody expects the worst, and then they start to chase because they fear that they're going to miss another opportunity where they could have bought the dip before it ripped higher. And so I'm hoping that's where we're at. I think that's kind of where I'm leaning right now, but we'll see what tomorrow brings. More economic data coming. Tomorrow's export and imports, and then we got some Michigan data, so that should be fun. And then we've got retail sales, New York Empire State manufacturing next week. Nothing too crazy. A lot of Chinese data though in the coming days, so that should be interesting. I'll be watching a lot of that. Anyway, you guys take it easy. Have a good night, and talk to you tomorrow, or talk to you on